Sam hurried toward the deserted train station. The clock was ticking closer to midnight, and an eerie silence filled the air. Dim, flickering lamps cast shaky pools of light across the empty platform. According to the schedule, the train was set to arrive at exactly 12 a.m. Locals had warned him about this final train, calling it strange, even cursed. But Sam had no choice. He needed to get to the next town. At the stroke of midnight, a faint light appeared in the distance. Slowly, an old, decrepit train rolled into the station, its movements slow and deliberate. The cars were rusted, their surfaces mottled with decades of decay. Cracked, foggy windows lined the sides, obscuring the interior. With a screeching hiss, the doors opened, releasing a chill that seeped into Sam's bones. He stepped aboard, his gut instinct screaming that something was wrong. The interior was ancient, with worn-out seats upholstered in dusty, faded fabric. The light bulbs above flickered weakly, casting the car in a sickly glow. Only 4 other passengers were seated, but they didn't move or react to his presence. They sat stiffly, like mannequins, their heads slightly bowed. Sam took a seat near the door, his eyes drawn to the window. But instead of the dark landscape, all he saw was an endless blanket of white fog pressing against the glass. The train lurched forward, and time seemed to warp. Minutes felt like hours, yet the next stop never came. Uneasiness grew into fear as Sam realized he had no idea where the train was headed. Desperate for answers, he approached one of the passengers, a man in a shabby suit. But as he leaned closer, Sam's blood ran cold. The man's eyes were wide open but lifeless, his skin ashen and waxy. He didn't blink or breathe. His fingers, resting on his lap, looked frozen, like they had been carved from ice. Sam stumbled backward, heart pounding, as he noticed the other passengers. All of them had turned their heads to face him. Their dead, vacant eyes followed his every move. In a panic, Sam ran to the door connecting the cars, but it was locked tight. Returning to his seat, he realized the passengers were now standing, their bodies swaying slightly as the train rattled forward. Sam felt their gaze burn into him, even though their faces showed no expression. He fumbled for his phone, but the screen wouldn't turn on. The buttons were unresponsive, as if the device had died the moment he stepped onto the train. Suddenly, a voice crackled over the intercom, hollow and monotone. "Next stop, never." The train accelerated, its wheels screeching louder and louder. Outside, the fog began to swirl, revealing shadowy figures moving alongside the train. They were tall and elongated, their twisted forms barely human. They seemed to be watching the train, their dark faces pressed against the windows. Sam tried to shatter the glass, but his hands passed through it as if it wasn't solid. Panic consumed him as he realized the train itself was becoming less real, its walls fading into darkness. The other passengers began to advance toward him, their mouths opening wide, but no sound emerged. The last thing Sam saw before everything went black was his own reflection in the window, distorted and twisted into something unrecognizable. Sam was never seen again. The midnight train, however, still arrives every night at exactly 12 a.m. And each time, a new passenger steps aboard, unaware that they are about to take their final journey to nowhere.